Shame can rob you of your sense of worth, isolate you, and trap you in a cycle of destructive behaviors. If you don't learn how to forgive yourself, it will be much more difficult to move forward in your path to recovery. Hi, I'm Liz Fernandez, and I'm a licensed clinician with Sandstone Care, and today we're going to talk about toxic shame and how it impacts addiction. I've been working with people struggling through addiction for most of my career on and off, and I've seen firsthand how shame can impact their recovery. Toxic shame is a deep-seated feeling of worthlessness, and it can both cause and prolong battles with addiction. In this video, I'm going to share 5 tips for forgiving yourself and for beginning the process of healing. Tip number 1 is acknowledging your shame as harmful. The first tip for forgiving yourself and beginning the healing process is to acknowledge that you feel ashamed and that this part of the cycle is harmful to you. This means that recognizing the shame is a normal part of the addiction cycle and that it isn't working to feel ashamed of your past destructive behaviors. When you recognize your feelings and put them into context, you can begin taking responsibility for your actions. Many of the clients I work with struggle to acknowledge that the shame that they feel is as much a deterrent to their growth as other mental health symptoms. Shame is a natural feeling, but nurturing and allowing that shame to remain without additional coping skills or support has led many of the clients I work with to further isolation and sometimes even relapse. Tip number 2 is identify the source of your shame. Shame often stems from childhood experiences or traumatic events, and it's important to identify the root causes in order to begin that healing process. Once you identify the source of your feelings of worthlessness, you can start to work through those feelings and develop a healthier perspective. One client insisted to me that they could not ask for help from their family during their recovery because then they would become a burden if they did. While it seemed arbitrary to them at the time, after answering a few questions, they were able to pinpoint a moment in their past when one of their parents had told them that they were a mistake and that they were a burden. This client had perceived needing help as a weakness, and the shame was reinforced by those closest to them. After identifying that source, they were able to begin monitoring, course correcting, and rebuilding those long-held self-beliefs, and they even began asking for help more often. Tip number 3 is practicing self-compassion. To practice self-compassion means treating yourself with kindness, understanding, and forgiveness. Self-compassion can help you move past feelings of shame and build a healthier relationship with yourself. It's important to remember that everyone makes mistakes and that you deserve the opportunity to recover, grow, and change. One of the greatest concerns in recovery for many is relapse. Everyone who has gone through some form of treatment has heard the phrase, relapse is a part of recovery, and it's said so much for a reason. However, relapse is one of the biggest factors that can allow toxic shame to seep back into a person's life. Giving yourself compassion and forgiveness for your mistakes, even and especially when a relapse occurs, is so crucial in continued healthy growth. Tip number 4 is to seek support. Seeking support from others in your life is so beneficial to your growth. Recovery can be a challenging journey, and it's important to have people in your life who can provide emotional support, guidance, and encouragement when you need it the most. This can include family members, friends, peers, and professionals. By seeking a strong support system, you can build a strong foundation for long-term healing. Having accepting, compassionate supports is a crucial piece in any person's recovery. Changing friend groups in recovery is often talked about, but learning to set boundaries with a family member and other important relationships is equally as important. If your internal shame is toxic to your recovery, it's also toxic when others attempt to weaponize it against you. Tip number 5 is to focus on your progress. Recovery is a process, and it's important to celebrate your accomplishments along the way. By celebrating your progress, you can develop a positive mindset and build confidence in yourself. Remember that every step forward, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. So many of the people I work with get lost in the mistakes and missteps of their recovery, and it's an understandable position. Recovery, especially early recovery, is a delicate and intense time when every stumble feels like it's a plummet. But allowing yourself to spiral into shame will not help you gain progress. Shame will not bring you change, but giving yourself kindness, acceptance, and accountability will. Toxic shame can be a powerful barrier to addiction recovery, but with the right tools and support, you can learn to forgive yourself and begin the healing process. If you want to learn more about substance use or mental health treatment options, then go to sandstonecare.com or click the link in the description box. We'll get to know you and your specific situation and connect you with the support you need, even if it's not with us. Change is possible, and Sandstone Care is here to help.